So is that true? Is that true, Tom? Will Triple G not fight Jamal Charlo?
Okay, let's do the interview.
Yes. Is it true? Isn't it true, Tom?
Isn't it true that Triple G won't fight Charlo?
Yeah, is it?
Well, this was after at the WBC convention when.
Question for Tom. Are you going
This part pisses me off right here, but he's going to get back to it.
to the Wilder?
Wilder Fury fight. You know what? Fury is training up in Big Bear. I saw him up there. That's going to be a good fight. I think I might go to that. It's the Staples Center. We did our first promotion. Klitschko,
Sanders, right?
Corey Sanders at the Staples Center. So we love it. We like the Staples Center, and I'll probably wind up going there. But getting back to the Triple G headlines.
Yeah.
So that was after the WBC. We had petitioned the WBC to make an immediate rematch because the WBC judges that I spoke to over there, every one of them thought that Triple G won the fight or should have kept
You're
his
talking
title.
about the rematch with Canelo.
The rematch with Canelo. We had petitioned for an immediate rematch, which they did after the first fight.
Right.
Because after the first fight, it was very controversial. Everyone thought Triple G won the first fight. It was a draw. WBC ordered a rematch. This time, two judges gave Canelo the decision, although those same two judges didn't give him the 12th round, which I think everyone agrees that Triple G won that 12th round. That's kind of the smoking gun on this fight, right, Dave? And you thought he won the 12th round?
Easily.
Well,
I thought he won the last three
so we petitioned for another immediate.
This is Tom Loeffler. This is Golovkin's promoter right here. We're going to talk about this. It is 3:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Halloween. October the 31st, 2018. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. And to get the headline out of the way, first they're talking about if this is Golovkin's promoter with the editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine that's owned by Golden Boy. This was a couple of days ago on Sunday. Every other Sunday or so, it seems like they get together and go to the track and discuss boxing. You know, I like it, truth be told, because Tom Loeffler, outside of other, like, for example, Tom Loeffler has a good reputation. You don't really hear too much shit about, well, Golovkin's promoter said this or he said that. He's usually, from what I've noticed, a very straightforward guy. Like, for example, Oscar De La Hoya, they're always going to bring up the fishnets. Eddie Hearn is dealing with his issues over here in the States, with the Wilder Joshua Fury stuff. What other promoters? Frank Warren, they call him Fish Eyes. I don't see it. I don't see how he looks like a fish. I don't see it. Who else? Bob Behrman. Oh, Bob Behrman's always preventing the fights. Al Heyman, he just overpays his guys. Lou DiBello, he's a shill. You see what I'm saying? What's his shit? Usually everybody's always directing when they have anything negative to say about Golovkin, they're always directing it at either Golovkin or Abel Sanchez. You see what I'm saying? Tom Loeffler just be like, just answering questions and shit. But moving on, I think we pretty much knew that Golovkin was going to have to make a tough decision, or his team, in regards to what they were going to do with his future in regards to broadcasting. HBO is done. There was a chance to go over to ESPN, maybe for one, maybe two fights to fight Murata, but that's done. So now, if he wants to get his belts back with Canelo signing, 11 fight, $365 million deal, or 10 fight, 350, whatever the number is, still it's outrageously crazy. All this money that's oh, by the way, this is my website. If you want to see the up-to-date rankings, this is what I do. The sanctioning bodies don't update their rankings at the same time every month. They're not updated every week. Hell, the champions are not updated every week. But what I do is I make sure I update my champions every time somebody loses. And we're getting better with the interface. See, I'm I got to be honest with you. I never wanted a website. But now that I have it, it's an important tool for what I do in regards to explaining, the sport, the schedule, and, the champions and everything. So I'm trying to make the interface better, make shit color-coded, So, for example, David Lemieux, the reason why he's green, I don't know. I just made it green because I made Billy Joe red. And red should be because Billy Joe is because of the drug test. But it's really not, because down here I have other people that are red because they're mandatory. We got to figure that shit out, right? we gotta figure this shit out, but we're gonna get it right. But the point is, we have the champions. Canelo, WBC, WBA Super World, Rob Brandt, WBA World, Jamal Charlo of the brothers Charlo, WBC Interim. That's kind of like a pacifier belt, like, here, take this. Don't worry. This really, really means you're going to get your shot. Danny Jacobs, a legitimate title, IBF. No matter how you slice it, he may not like to hear it, but nobody considered that WBA belt the real belt. Just like when Canelo's moving up to 168 pounds. No disrespect to Rocky Felding, but it says it's considered a world title. A fighter can say he's a world champion, but people are always going to look like, oh, but you got the WBA regular, though. You know? Demetrius Andrade, new WBO champion. Canelo and Danny Jacobs are supposed to fight in May on the zone. If Canelo gets past Rocky Felding. Not saying that he won't. I'm just saying. I always have to keep an open mind. And I'm going to get some fucking goddamn WD-40 for this goddamn chair tomorrow or later on. I'm not going out nowhere fucking 4 o'clock in the morning to get no goddamn WD-40. But I need to get some because this is annoying. Listen, it's freezing down here a little bit. But what was I talking about? Oh, looking at all those champions, they're over on the zone. 3 of Golovkin's belts over on the zone. This video is going to run a little long. Damn. But so we got to get to a lot. So let me say this. I feel that the zone is doing the right thing in regards to, listen, we got to secure these fighters now, you know, to really make a dent. Like they made a dent. I didn't think there was going to be I didn't think they were going to be able to make this big of a dent by getting Canelo. You know, they're likely going to get Danny Jacobs. It's not official that Danny Jacobs is going to the zone. It's not official. They have Demetrius Andrade. They have a Golden Boy, which means they have David Lemieux, even Spike O'Sullivan. Jamal Charlo is going to have to follow suit eventually, soon. But he's got some time. Let's see how this WBC purse bid situation plays out later on in about, another 3-4 months or so. Let's listen to a little bit more. In fact, I'm going to run it back a little bit, then we can go from there. This is, once again, this is him explaining what happened after Canelo versus Golovkin, in regards to the petition of the WBC and, that. He's going to talk about it a little bit more later on in the video.
He is training up in Big Bear. I saw him up. We had petitioned the WBC to make an immediate rematch because the WBC judges that I spoke to over there, every one of them thought that Triple G won the fight or should have kept his title.
You're talking about the rematch with Canelo.
The rematch with Canelo. We had petitioned for an immediate rematch, which they did after the first fight.
Right.
Because after the first fight, it was very controversial. Everyone thought Triple G won the first fight. It was a draw. WBC ordered a rematch. This time, two judges gave Canelo the decision, although those same 2 judges didn't give him the 12th round, which I think everyone agrees that Triple G won that 12th round. That's kind of the smoking gun on this fight, right? Dave? And you thought he won the 12th round?
Easily.
Well,
I thought
there
he
you
won
go.
the last 3
So we petitioned for another immediate rematch because this time they actually took the titles away. There was a much bigger uproar from the fans.
Yeah, that's true.
Before it was a draw, okay, he kept his titles, we'll do the rematch. This time,
Before the uproar was on Adelaide Bird's
right?
card,
that scorecard was just way out.
And now the uproar was that he lost.
He lost the
title.
Didn't lose the fight necessarily.
Yeah, but it's his first official loss.
So that was a petition. Then the WBC said, well, since you want an immediate rematch and since Charlo's pushing for it, we'll order Charlo Triple G. When Nick did that interview, I knew Charlo already had a fight scheduled in December, which he announced.
Against Willie Monroe Jr.
And who knocked out Willie Monroe Jr.?
I believe that was Gennady Golovkin 4 years ago.
This might be another shot
Excuse me.
question now. So Triple G knocked out Willie Monroe Jr. or
5 rounds.
Maybe got a TKO, 5 rounds.
Yeah.
That was after Monroe Jr. had won the ESPN tournament.
What's your
the
thought
Boxino
on Dazn?
DAZN.
DAZN?
DAZN.
Yeah.
And who will win?
Who will win what?
Well, they went off real quick.
These guys. Come on. Complete sentences, everybody.
So Willie Monroe Jr. won the ESPN tournament, the Boxino tournament.
Yeah.
So seemed like a viable
And then looked
opponent
really
at the
good
time.
against Brian Vera.
Looked good against Brian.
Really
That's
good
right.
against 10-rounder against Brian.
And a guy that you really don't want to fight, a moving guy,
Southpaw,
Southpaw,
strong. Yeah.
And Triple G.
I don't consider him strong.
Stopping him in 5 rounds. Then BJ Saunders dominated him, and now Charlo's fighting him. So it's not that Triple G won't fight Charlo. It just doesn't make sense right now since Charlo has a fight scheduled.
I like that shade.
We should also point out this is Charlo's first headliner.
I like that shade.
They flipped a coin.
Yeah, as a world-class fighter, this is his first time.
Who would win between Gotti and Triple G?
See this fucking stupid shit.
And Broner.
We've got Wilder Fury.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they're talking January for Pacquiao Broner.
Right.
And then they're talking February or March for
Tom,
Spence
are you coming
Garcia,
to?
if it happens.
See, the whoever was holding the camera really, and asking the questions really was taking things out of the mood. My bad. I didn't mean to decapitate Tom. I mean decapitate him. But let me see. It was something else in here. Let me see if I can find the timestamp. I believe it was like
The payment to fight Danny Jacobs. He got paid well. He got by far the
Really,
around with them.
2 or 3 more day delay,
Yeah.
we would have lost the date from HBO.
I think this is
The
it.
deal we were trying to work out with Lou was once we work out our TV deal.
What's next for D?
Did I fuck it up?
Chinko.
Oh, Derevinchenko.
Derevinchenko. It's not easy to say. Yeah, it's not easy to say.
You know what?
Derevinchenko's
going to be in that category.
Derevinchenko.
Now where he went 12 rounds. He got a split decision or lost a split decision with Danny Jacobs. Doesn't bring all that much promotional marketing, financial value with him. So he's going to be. I think he's going to be kind of stuck in between right now.
Well, his management rolled the dice in that move to fight for the vacant.
Right.
IBF title that I thought was unjustly stripped from Triple G.
I thought the same thing.
I don't think so.
I thought it was a poor move for
could have been-
Derevinchenko because it was like, with that move, it's like he had to beat Jacobs.
For it
And the
to
thing
make
is
sense.
Jacobs was used to him. Jacobs had sparred hundreds of rounds with him.
And Jacobs had-
I don't think it was fair. No, I do think it was fair. Listen, I'm all for. I don't care what fighter it is. I'm all for you fighting your mandatories. If a mandatory comes up, unless you're fighting in unification, then I don't care how much, how big of a money fight that there is that you can get. You got to fight your mandatory. That's not fair to the boxers coming up to the rankings. They got to fix that shit. For example, I feel that boxers who fail a drug test for any reason, and if it's proven, without a shadow of a doubt, whatever the fuck it is, then it's like, yo, no matter what, like you did that shit. For example, with Canelo, he had to say, like, listen, to not be suspended for a year, but to only be suspended 6 months by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, he had to say, listen, there is computerol in my system, even though it was contaminated meat. They were like, we don't give a shit how it got into your system. Say it's in your system, admit that shit, and then we'll give you a slap on the wrist. Like, for example, David Benavidez, people think I'm hating, but it's like he failed the drug test. He should be stripped, not made champion in recess. No disrespect to him. I understand people say it was only cocaine. I never did cocaine. I heard it made your nose stings and burns or some shit. But still, it's like, it's like a party drug, but it's like still. Yeah, he was out maybe with some bitches or something, no disrespect. But it's like, bro, you can't be doing that shit, man. But whatever. Golovkin was holding out for that Canelo fight, but the IBF was like, yo, it's been a year, bro. You got to fight a mandatory. We're not trying to hear that shit. Anyway, moving on.
Trainer was Derevinchenko's head
Andre
trainer.
Wazir was in his corner.
So it was the deck was stacked against them when they had a lottery ticket. They had a ticket to be the mandatory for the winner of the Triple G Canelo rematch, and when you have that kind of lottery ticket, you don't toss it.
The deal we were trying to work out with Lou was Derevinchenko would be on the Triple G Canelo show, so we'd get a lot of exposure that way, and then he would be the mandatory for the winner of whoever it was.
And he needed more fights. He needed more exposure. All of that was good. So they were like they were just impetuous.
But he was good, and I thought the whole.
I agree with that.
I consider him a legit middleweight contender even before the.
He might win a title down the road, but I think he's going to be very avoided now.
Exactly. That's the point. That's why
he's too dangerous.
It didn't work out for him.
Right.
See, if he had.
On the media call, I asked him that, like, win or loss. I asked him if he was to win, that he would be like the boogeyman. And now it is true. He's going to be having a tough time getting fights because he will make it difficult.
Yeah, he's got some bargaining power, and people will take the risk to fight him. But now,
and also those Triple G haters.
He's all risk and no reward.
To fight him on that 3-week notice deal just wasn't. That just didn't make sense. Vaughn stepped up he was here local in L.A. We had to change so many things.
And he was ready to do it.
And
too.
the way they were.
Yeah, he was ready to sign. Like there was
Deverenchenko,
no.
oh, yeah.
No, I'm talking about Vanes.
Oh, Vanes.
No, yeah. I was saying
No,
Deverenchenko. No,
All right, that's not. I was looking for something else.
He gets a headline.
it's still.
All here.
That's right. You
Yeah.
get it on mainstream news.
Like it used
BBC
to.
covered.
We
Like,
have a
what do you think?
Superfly 3
Imagine that.
for
Also,
B1.
October 20th.
It's too hard to do it in the middle
Plus,
way.
we had the Canelo fights going on. So
Fury fight, have to fight.
The thing is that Canelo's fighting on DAZN. Danny Jacobs presumably is going to be fighting on DAZN. Demetrius Andrade's on DAZN. So that's all the titles. That's because Canelo has the WBA and WBC titles,
Right.
as well as the ring. Andrade has the WBO title, and Danny Jacobs just won the IBF title.
Yep.
So all the major belts are on DAZN.
And Brandon Rios is on the zone.
And Brand, I mean, there you go.
But since Triple G,
That's going to get them. They're going to meet their subscription
You know,
quota
that's-
just with Bam Bam.
You know, that was a smart move to have him because that's
People
opponents
know
for
who he
guys,
is.
good fights. and
He's
they know
a slugger.
Doug, don't you think since you feel Triple G won or got a draw?
Yeah,
and Dave thinks
he's unbeaten in my
Triple
eyes.
G and
Yeah.
unbeaten that he's the people's champion.
Yeah, he's the
He's
uncrowned.
actually above
Yeah.
the titles at this point.
Yeah.
If the fight
Yeah, I can agree with that, but you know, I think it's safe to say, you know, he's going to the zone. What's that offer going to be like, though? You know, at his age right now, he's 36, right? He's got to secure the bag, right? They talk of him fighting Colin Smith, though. But if he goes over to the zone, his first fight is likely going to be light work. It probably won't be Colin Smith at 168. It'll probably be motherfucking. He can't do Spike O'Sullivan. Who could it be? It wouldn't be too light work. They would have to get some type of name. It can't be Martin Murray, obviously. He fought him already. And Martin Murray is like Frank Warren right now, right? He's fighting soon. Something like that, right? Would they do him? Would they throw with Golden Boy, give him Jason Quigley? The Quigs? I don't know. Things are going to get interesting because now, listen, we could probably see, 160 is the place to be. I mean, the zone is the place to be if you're at 160. But, you know, that's like that with different networks. For example, if you're at 147 and 154, you want to be over on Showtime PBC. Let's see. Let's go down to 140. 140 is the World Boxing Super Series. You want to be, you know, the World Boxing Super Series. 135. That's where that. Well, technically, Mikey Garcia's dropped his 135-pound IBF title. The WBC, he going to hold on to as long as he can. The zone in top rank for 130 for the most part, outside of Tank being the A side over everybody at 130, in my opinion. But, you know, depending on, you know, what division you're in. But when you're at 160, I know Jamal Charlo's got to be looking. And can you imagine, like, whatever contract Golovkin gets? What if they give him, like, 3 fights, $60 million? Remember, there's no pay-per-view model with the zone. So these guys are going to be making this money from, you know, is there a subscription bonus? They're making flat rates. Yeah, there's going to be sponsorships and everything like that. Maybe, what, are they going to get a percentage of the ticket sales? But, you know, that's a lot of guaranteed money. Fighters these days, you can't pass it up. People are still looking at Adrian Broner funny for turning in that $40 million Rock Nation deal, especially when you look at likely they would have brought him out of this contract like they did Miguel Cotto. He would have came away with like maybe 20, 30 million just off of maybe 1-2 fights after they would have brought him out, maybe. Crazy. You know, but we'll see, man. It is what it is. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Now we're just going to wait for the news, the headline. Golovkin signs 4-fight, $60 million deal, 5-fight, 120. How big is the deal going to be? How big is the deal going to be? If they want to make Canelo Golovkin 3 on the zone, they're going to make sure that shit happens. They're going to make sure that shit happens. For $10 a month? Anyway, please subscribe. Links to my social media right down below. TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live.